Good afternoon, friends. This summer, sun, good mood, and just like you, I'm waiting for 3 episodes of the amazing Digital Circus. I will announce the release date at the end of the video, so guys, sit back and don't forget to subscribe to the channel. We're starting. The pilot episode was very interesting, and the second episode was so dynamic and intriguing that sometimes I want to watch it again. But as I said at the beginning of the video, we will soon see a new episode 3, the release date of which you will learn in this video. As everyone already knows, the 3rd episode will be dedicated to Zooble, so who will be the antagonist in episode 3? Let's get to the bottom of it. There is no direct information from the creators of the amazing Digital Circus as such. Everyone used to think, including myself, that it would be Martha Mildenhall. But I noticed an interesting detail in Pomni's musical adventure. Notice this detail right here. When Pomni starts singing, a shampoo we've heard about before appears in the frame. It's a shampoo with the Orbsman logo on it. And I'm really hoping that Orbsman will make an appearance in episode 3. And we remember from the first announcement of the season that his location will be fast food place. Oh, and I also want to remind you that Jax will also appear there. Also, let's not forget about another Gooseworx post in which Jax appears in a maid outfit. Everyone thought it was another joke from the creators until Gooseworx revealed the secret of the outfit on Twitter and said that we will see Jax in the 3rd episode. And at least a few references have already confirmed the fact that episode 3 will focus on Orbsman and everything surrounding him. The question remains, why exactly did Jax become Kane's main target and send him there? Will Jax really be the main character of the episode again? Although I will repeat that the main character should be Zooble. In my opinion, the location to which Kane will send his subjects will be a small modern city, and each of the characters will work in some kind of factory. And most likely, Orbsman Spoodis is not the most pleasant place to visit. And that's what Jax will be talking about in episode 3, and most likely knowing Jax, this outrage will be addressed to Orbsman himself. I would like to remind you that Jax was very reluctant to take part in the new adventure, and Kane was able to force him. We could also notice one leak, in which all the characters are happily eating the candy that Kane gave them after the candy quest, and only our disgruntled rabbit with a disgruntled look throws away his candy, while holding a whole bag of candy. I'm more than sure that Jax will be punished by Kane for his boorish behavior, namely sent on his next quest in a maid costume. Earlier fans were convinced that TADC was a kids show, but we're seeing not exactly a kids show, and Gooseworx is clearly telling us that things are going to be much more epic, and for some, sadder than previous episodes in episode 3. And judging by the fact that episode 3 won't be a kids show, it's quite possible that we'll see even more drama and unexpected plot decisions that will delight or sadden us, depending on the storyline. I would like to hope that the 3rd episode will be the best of the 1st season. Why, you ask why? Well, let's find out. First of all, we all know Zooble hasn't participated in any of the Kane challenges yet, because in the pilot episode, Zooble was punished for refusing to participate in the adventure, and in the 2nd episode, she was able to hide somewhere. She, like Jax, doesn't particularly enjoy participating in these adventures. And after these actions of Zooble, fans started to wonder why she keeps refusing to participate in Kane adventures. But Gooseworx responded in their own style. Have you seen these adventures? With their answer, they made it clear that all previous adventures, quests, or challenges were just a child's game, and probably very boring for Zooble. And from this, we can conclude that the adventure that Zooble will finally take part in will be much more interesting, dramatic, and epic. In my opinion, episode 3 will be an event that all amazing Digital Circus fans should look forward to. And all these leaks, references, and theories make me patiently wait for something great in the Digital Circus universe. By the way, I can't help but be reminded of another reference in which Gooseworx described all new episodes in one word. This post appeared before the release of the 2nd series, and therefore the word boy was dedicated to the 2nd series. Well, it's not hard to assume that by boy, the authors meant our sadistic hare, who ended up being the main character of the 2nd episode. Also, this leak contains keywords about the new episodes, and the word damn really excites and intrigues me. So if anyone has any guesses, post them in the comments. You may ask, what does Jax have to do with anything if everyone knows that episode 3 will be about Zooble? I'll say it again, Jax is still one of the most mysterious characters in the Digital Circus because of his ambiguity. And in episode 3, we will finally understand who the real Jax is and his role in the show. This is one of my personal top questions about episode 3, as we assume that Kane will send Jax to work for Orbsman, who apparently will pay him minimum wage, or they will have some conflict. I hope you noticed that with each new series, the level of artificial intelligence is getting higher and higher. Even Kane himself said about it, and therefore Orbsman should be several times more real than Gamigu. His decisions and actions will be much more non-standard, very typical for real-life people. Why am I so confident about this? Because let's remember, another Gooseworx leak about the relationship between Jax and Orbsman. Jax's phrase, "Don't ever call us that again." It is quite rare to hear such words from Jax because we all know about Jax's weakness to bully others and he is only happy if someone insults others. But here he is sticking up for his friends, if you can call them all friends. But what could have happened that made Jax change his views and attitudes so much? Perhaps Orbsman and all those NPCs who will represent his company and the location as a whole will mock our circus performers? And maybe Jax will feel on his own skin how it is to be insulted and humiliated? Jax will probably reconsider his behavior and therefore will say these words towards Orbsman. Maybe Orbsman's behavior and attitude will be so terrible that even an egoist like Jax will feel how wrong he was before. I want to tell you another theory of mine that confirms one of the leaks. We all know for 2 episodes now Jax has been bullying everyone, but his favorite is the defenseless and mentally weak Gangle, who we see mostly in a depressed and crying state. And for Jax, hurting Gangle is a routine and personal habit that gives him a standard dose of dopamine. He's also used to her never responding to him and just putting up with it all. And now Gooseworx shares one of Gangle's lines with us in the 3rd episode for some purpose. Perhaps to make us happy for Gangle or to take us away from something important. I think everyone understands when that expression is used, and I have a theory about it. Maybe Gangle will finally stop being a crybaby in the moment and respond to Jax and hit him back for his next prank. Or maybe there will still be an actual fight in episode 3 where the circus performers fight the Orbsman gang. Either way, both of these actions will make Jax respect his friends. All of this is actually a secondary storyline. We should talk specifically about who we're going to talk about in episode 3 and what it's going to be about in general. Yes, I will remind you that we are talking about Zubul. She is one of the youngest members of the Digital Circus and she is only 22 years old. She probably doesn't quite understand who she is in life yet and how she should present herself in society. This plays a key role in her problems. Maybe the writers didn't invent her a box of parts from herself for nothing, pointing out that she can't even choose her own particular style, which every character in the amazing Digital Circus has. Perhaps the reason is her past real world, which was then carried over by projection into the digital universe we're all watching. In general, let's remember who Zubul really is, shall we? She is straightforward, a bit sharp, has no fear of anything, and that's how we perceived her throughout the pilot series. But in the final scene, we see a very different Zubul. She is revealed as vulnerable and very sensitive to the other characters, and the fact that she volunteered to stay in the Digital Circus tent to prepare for Kaufmo's funeral shows her as a kind and positive character. It's easy to see that saying goodbye was hard for her, and this was also noticed by Pomni, who took a liking to Zubul as a good person. Well, it's time to tell you the release date for episode 3 of the amazing Digital Circus. Those who have watched this video up to this point, good for you, and you won't be eaten by Fudge Monster. If you do a little analysis, you can see that there was a pretty big break of about 6 months between the pilot episode and the 2nd episode. But this is obviously because by the time the pilot episode was released, the 2nd episode was not ready almost at all. The whole point is that the creators were running tests when they launched the pilot episode. In other words, they were testing the potential of the new show on YouTube. Well, as a consequence, the success of the Digital Circus was overwhelming, so the creators started working hard on new content to eliminate such long delays. The creators started making both the 2nd and 3rd series. I will also remind you that they have created their website, which I have talked about in past videos, so they are serious. This has also lengthened the release of the 2nd series. Most likely at this point, the bulk of the 3rd episode is ready, which means we can expect a release within 2 months. I think the period from July 20 to August 1 is the most reasonable for the release of the new episode. I realize that you all are looking forward to the release of the 3rd episode, but we don't have that long to wait. Especially this episode will be the best among all the episodes that have already appeared. All guys, thanks for watching, share the video with your friends, have a good mood and see you soon.